I'd actually been giving you company over Ramzan, and what a brilliant Ramzan it was. Belated Eid Mubarak to all of you. It's absolutely wonderful to be back in my favorite seat, which I'm not able to sit in permanently, can I tell you. I'm only here for an hour. And we have such an exciting show today. This is your very own Dr. Shabina Asad Qayyum, and I would really like you to participate in my show today. So if you could, don't forget to phone us. Do send some phone calls in. Look, I know that you lot were sort of lacking in energy over the last bit of Ramzan, and you weren't able to the last moments of my show was just when you were in the throes of preparing for your iftari, and there was no brain glucose left, and you really didn't have the energy to talk to me. But now there is no excuse, because I'm back at the peak time at 7 o'clock. It's a Wednesday. It's beautiful and sunny outside. What excuses have you got? So give me some company. Call me on our Salaam studio telephone number 01733 602 133, or you can text and WhatsApp on 07745278978. And as always, you will be watching me Facebook Live, which is wonderful. Now, let me tell you what a wonderful, fun-packed show I have today. And it's something that I am so passionate about, because I talk about it every single day in my surgery. I talk about it every single day to my patients. Some of you listen, some of you don't. And it's about targeting those that don't. So I really hope you're listening, all of you brothers and sisters out there, because now there is no excuse. And I've got a really special guest with me. So I have the wonderful company of Miss Shakila Bano, who's our very own health and wellness coach, apart from the many other roles that she plays within the Peterborough area. Assalamu alaikum, Shakila. It's wonderful to have you, and thank you for taking out your valuable time. So, assalamu alaikum, Shakila.
Wa alaikum salam.
It's wonderful for you to take your time out for us today. It's great to see you over here in this hustling, bustling city of Peterborough.
It's a pleasure to be here too.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Shakila, tell me a little bit about you. I know that you're a health and wellness coach, but for those of our brothers and sisters out there who are listening, what is a health and wellness coach, and what other roles do you play? So tell me about you. I'd like to hear a little bit about you.
So a little bit about my background.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I was born in Peterborough.
Yep.
I was brought up in Peterborough. I've been to Pakistan for a couple of years.
Oh, wonderful.
So I've seen that side of life, and I've seen this side of life as well. About 17 years ago, I was overweight. I was 2 stones overweight, and I lost the weight by going to the gym.
Really?
But more interestingly, I found ways to lose weight at home.
Okay.
I found that you can just use normal household equipment to lose weight. So it was just really, really good.
Yeah.
I then Sure Start, I think we're in that building today, so it's remembering the old ghost. But
really?
Sure Start actually offered me to be qualified as a fitness instructor, so they said they'll pay for it. Did I want to do this? And I said, okay, that's fine. So I actually got really interested in it at that point.
Yeah.
I became a fitness instructor. I banged my head, just doing all the exercises, never really changing what you do at home.
Okay.
Because at that point, that was a long time ago, at that point you'd think that you could exercise yourself to a healthy person, but it's not just about exercise. It's all about what you do at home.
Okay.
So if people used to attend my sessions, and it's like if there's 168 hours in a week, and you give me one, what are you doing for the rest of the 167 hours?
Yeah.
And that's what we need to target, and that's what we do on these services as well. That's what we try to do, is try to motivate clients. But that's how I started in a way. I worked for the City Council 6 years ago. And we started on the Let's Get Moving programs. On one of my first programs, I helped a client lose 3 stones over 3 months.
Wow.
She then ended up attending my personal sessions that I have running in the community. Amazing. For 14 years.
Amazing.
Yes, I was originally funded by the lottery money, and but then after 5 years, and until now, there's no funding, and the classes are only £2 a session.
Wow.
So it's just a little bit about me serving the community, giving back a little bit to well, not a little bit, a lot, because they are worth about £6-7 per session,
Yeah.
but I only charge £2.
Yeah.
And some people don't even know they're running. They'll be on the same street.
That's so true.
It's on the Gladstone Park Community Centre.
Okay.
Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday in the mornings at 9:30.
Yeah.
And they only cost £2 a session.
That's amazing.
And I've been doing it for 14 years, and just everybody teaches me something different, because you find new clients, you work with different groups of people, and you find that they're teaching you something as well.
That's
so
right.
I'm very open-minded like that, and I try to fix things. I try to think, well, okay, then, you know, I've come across this barrier, or not even just a barrier, it's just an obstacle. How am I going to overcome that?
Yeah.
How can I make it better for this group and then the next group? So where was I? I'm quite nervous at the moment.
No need to be nervous. You are with...
My introverted self is slowly dying inside.
No.
Yes.
Oh, we will make you comfortable. Don't you worry about that, Shakila. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah,
and
it's a
actually,
pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to gain from your expertise. I mean, all that you volunteered at the moment in terms of information, I find wonderful, because you've said something that has really made sense to me. It's about learning from your clients and sort of gaining from them as well, which means that your approach is very holistic. You like to look at the bigger picture.
Yes.
That's what I'm sort of gaining about
Definitely.
you. So you're definitely not an introvert
Yeah.
in that way, but it's very
It
good
sort
that
of
you
pulled me out, you know,
Yeah.
out of my interest, but I still have that. I do like to go home and curl in a ball and
Oh.
recharge.
But it's brilliant that you've been able to give
Yes.
or target that 14 years of all that hard work that you've
Yes.
done. And I am so inspired about the fact that you yourself took inspiration from an insight from your own situation,
Yeah.
tried to correct that. You had results in yourself, and then you tried to implement that
Yeah.
in the community.
Yeah.
So you are a living example of what can be achieved.
Yes, I mean, as I was mentioning before, that it was only the exercise that, you know, I was only exercising, and I still put the weight on because I wasn't doing anything with the food. So about 7 years ago, a cousin of mine was getting married, and I said, that's it, I'm going to focus on the food as well. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing at home, and it's not just about the gym, it's not just about the exercise. Yes, it's keeping me going, it's keeping me healthy. It is good, I'm not saying it's not good, but it's definitely what you do at home as well.
Yeah.
So then I lost the rest of the weight, and I have maintained this weight loss for 7 years.
Amazing.
And everybody else I have a few 5 or 6 people I've worked with, they've all lost the weight and they've maintained it. I mean, the ones that I can actually say that they've maintained it for 3, 4, 5 years. I do have a Facebook page. You can go on there and you can see some of the transformations. I've only got a couple at the moment, but I'm asking others to give me their photographs.
Absolutely.
So, you know, even if it's blurred out, because, you know, with the Asian clients, they don't really like to show themselves, but that's fine. But it's all about, it's all the behavior change. It's not about, like, a lot of people will forget what's happening under the chin.
Yeah.
They will gain weight. They will go and buy bigger sizes of clothes, but they won't understand, they won't think that what's happening to them.
That's so
it's
true.
only when they look in the mirror, or they've got a photograph that's taken, or they can't fit in that airplane seat, is when they actually say, do you know what, I've got to do something about this.
Absolutely. Or you have a cousin's wedding.
Oh, I have a cousin's wedding, yes. No, I wasn't that obese, though. I wasn't obese at all. I was just a little bit overweight for a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
So actually now, hopefully I look the part.
Yes.
And that's
what
me,
it
basically.
is.
And it's all about motivating people. It's about keeping the prices low. I mean, nowadays you can't even get a snack for £2.
That's right.
And my sessions are £2, and it's just really brilliant.
It is,
around, yeah.
absolutely. Now, tell me one thing. I do feel, as a general practitioner, we have a problem. The problem we have is trying to make members of the community understand, number one, yes, they do know that there are certain health problems associated with them and how important exercise and general well-being is. Things like smoking, things like just getting out and about, like you say, things like dietary habits, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of us have fallen foul to that, especially in months like Ramzan. I have so many diabetic patients whose blood sugars have soared during the month of Ramzan, and they've said, oh, towards the end, what can we do? You know, my kids, they won't have anything without pakoras, even though during my shows I was giving out recipes that were supposedly healthy. And we do have a big problem. We have a big problem about the acknowledgement that this is really serious. Diabetes, the prevalence of it within the Muslim Asian population, especially within Peterborough, it's an epidemic. It's a massive crisis. We have seen so many young deaths within the community, as you know.
Heart attacks.
A lot of it. And it's about trying to get the message through. I have lots of female ladies who come to me and say, oh, I've got a treadmill in my house. I go on it all the time. I still don't lose weight. Or I don't like this tummy, doctor. Give me some medicine. Surely you could work in liaison with me to get that message out. It may be stern, but it's real, to say, well, actually, no, it's not about just taking a pill and popping a pill to get rid of that. We have some people who have mobility issues.
Yes.
What's your message for those kind of people?
Well, exercise is good all around. It's good. It's a bit like the oil for a machine. It's really good. It keeps you moving. Have you ever seen some of those women who just say, oh, I'm just going to sit down because I can't lift my arm, so I'm just going to sit down and relax. And then what happens is you see them after 6 months and they can't even lift the arm at that point where they could before.
Yeah.
So it's all about movement. It's about engaging with the clients. This is why all these programs and these services are here, because of the fact they're all free, and we help the clients on a one-to-one basis and in a group situation as well. And we like to motivate them. I think the key is the motivation.
Absolutely.
Because it's that psychological drive to engage in a behavior, and we're just hoping that it's we want it to be a good behavior.
Absolutely.
That that they're thinking about. And so it's about, if they don't, and they've got to feel pleasure, they've got to feel happy about making that change. Yes, they want to do it for other reasons, for the diabetes, for heart disease, for everything else, for somebody else who says, oh my God, you've put on some weight, why don't you lose some weight? It's not about them. At the beginning, the motivation is within themselves.
Yeah.
They have to enjoy what they're doing, and that's what we're trying to do in these programs and services, is make it enjoyable for them, give them the tools and tricks that they can use. I mean, losing weight is easy. It's keeping it there that is the hardest. And yes, it's a struggle every day, but you can make it as pleasurable as possible. You can, it's not about you're not allowed to eat any of these food groups. It's not that you can't have like your cheesecake. I mean, it's an inside joke with me and cheesecakes, but like cheesecakes and everything.
I'd like to hear that joke.
Me and cheesecakes, right, I have a sweet tooth, but yes, I then burn it off as well. So
yes, absolutely.
You're allowed to have that one treat in the week. It's not regimental. It's supposed to be based around you. It's not a one-size-fits-all. You might be a totally different person who takes, what is being healthy to you will be, yes, I want to be running on a treadmill. For somebody else, it'll be being able to smile, being able to see my grandchildren, or being able to walk outside, or the sun shining through the window. It's just really different for everybody, and we are there trying to figure out what it is for them, and how can we change your life, and how can we help you and enable you and empower you to make that change. You really don't need a lot. I mean, I don't know how many billion-pound industry this is, right? The fitness industry, but it's really free. You really don't need to spend a lot of money.
That's true.
To lose weight, and I totally am behind that. And I wish, you're talking about motivation. I mean, a lot of people in our community will say, oh, it's God's will. It's God's will. Do you get that a lot? Yeah. It's God's will I've got diabetes. It's God's will that I can't, I've got arthritis and stuff like that. And I would say, well, you don't want to stand in the middle of the motorway and say, well, it's God's will.
Yes, that's right.
You have to be safe yourself.
That is so true.
You can't have a GP like yourself. You'll know, you'll experience that you'll say to somebody, okay, if you carry on putting on this weight, if you keep on going the way that you're going, you're going to have arthritis. You won't be able to, you kneel on the floor. Now, if you're praying, now, are you telling me that it's God's will that he's going to stop you from kneeling in front of him?
Yeah.
Is it his will? Or is it yours? Or is it because you couldn't be asked?
Yes.
Or
the excuses are there, aren't
they? I can give you examples. It's the men, it's the females, it's the women as well in our community. I have loads of stories, but one of them's that's, that I can think about, and it's quite strong in my mind, and I always, it's about a friend of mine's who had cancer, and her husband husband, used to do everything for her, used to, you know, carry her everywhere, used to cook for the children, he used to cut all the fruit so that the kids, they had 3 children, and used to cut everything and place it in the fridge so the kids wouldn't have to, you know, worry about eating. And she couldn't really do a lot because of the condition, but what he didn't do was look after himself. Right. He was a taxi driver, he was obese, and he died of a heart attack. Goodness. And the way she cried on the, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, that nobody else does, but the way she cried, it was just like pierced through your heart. That, I'm not saying, yes, it's God's will that he went at that time, but had he looked after himself, you know, I'll say to these women, that's the question you asked me, what would I say to these women? What would I say to these women is, look after yourself. I would say to the men, sometimes I do get a lot of women who will not complain, but they will say that my husband's sleeping and he can't look after the children, he can't send them to these services, to these programs. You know, it's about letting them, it's about keeping your family safe. If you love them, keep them safe, let them come, let them look at what is out there, what is on offer. It's all free. I can't say that enough.
Oh my goodness.
But I can talk about the launch, and then we can talk about the programs, and then we'll go on with that.
Yes, we can, definitely. So for those of you who have just tuned in, I've got the most wonderful and eloquent and very articulate Shakila Bano, who's a health and wellness coach. One of her very many important roles that she plays in the community, and brothers and sisters, she has given 14 years to this, and the dedication that she is giving and what she's giving back to the community in terms of benefit as well. It's only something that we can be very fortunate to have within the Peterborough area. And as she says, all of these services are completely free, and she shared a story with us about a sister who herself had cancer, and her husband did look after her and the children and made sure that everything was taken care of. The only thing that he did not take care of was his own health. And the story that actually pulled at my heartstrings just listening to that, because it's heartbreaking, isn't it? When you receive a diagnosis such as cancer, a lot of people think that that's the end, that's it. And in that process, a lot of people think, well, I've got to now just, you know, leave everything. It's not about me anymore. It's about everything else. But actually, it is about you. It is about your health.
Yes.
And if you want to make a comment, or you'd like to just have a look at the Facebook Live video that's going on, put in a comment. It would be wonderful to hear from you so we can answer some questions, or call us on our studio telephone number, which is 01733 602 133, or you can text and WhatsApp on 07745 278 978. I always have to look at this plastic sheet that's got the numbers. I've been here in Salaam Radio for a year. I still can't remember the numbers off by heart. How bad is that? But thank you again very much, Shakila, for coming to see us. And all of these services within the Peterborough area are free. Shakila does a lot of exercise classes on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at Gladstone Community Park Centre.
Women's only though.
They're women's only. They are women's only. Honestly, it's just a walk around the corner. I could walk from here to there within 7.5 minutes, I would say. It's not far at all. And you know what? There is no excuse whatsoever. So anybody who's listening that says that I do my housework, that's enough, I do this, no, that's not exercise. You have to do the exercise that Sister Shakila is talking to you about. That's exercise, okay? So it would be wonderful if you could take that initiative. And, you know, following that, what I'm going to be asking you, Shakila, is the services that are on offer at the moment. Could you tell us a little bit about, just to make it clear for our brothers and sisters listening?
Okay, there's 5 services that are available, but first of all, I have to talk about this service, this Peterborough service launch event that's happening on the 8th of July. Ooh. So that's this Saturday. Okay. It's going to be in front of the town hall, so on Bridge Street. It's starting from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock.
Right.
It's just launching the new free healthy lifestyle service in Peterborough. Well, they'll be offering free health checks and physical activity demonstrations.
Right.
I'm going to be part of that. Another colleague of mine, Sonia, is also going to be part of that. We're both, I'm actually going to demonstrate how you can walk 1,500 steps in 10 minutes, but also you can do it at home. It will just be in that area. So if you want to come, I'll be doing it every hour. Sonia will be doing different things every hour as well. So we're both going to be working on that. Apart from that, there'll be free health checks.
What time is this starting?
This starting at 10 o'clock.
In front of the town hall?
In front of the town hall on Saturday, on the 8th of July.
Okay, so you have to be there, listeners. It would be wonderful. All of you, all throughout this week, all my patients who I've seen, who I have given endless, I've been referring as well to our wellness coaches within the surgery. All of you who need to have that bit of exercise done, please do go to this launch event, Town Centre, just as Sister Shakila has said, starting from 10 o'clock, and you will be given wonderful, innovative ways in which to keep healthy. And what else is going to be there?
So we can help you to keep fit and well through our health checks and stop smoking weight management programs. So what they are, first of all, if I talk about the health check, so there's going to be a full health check. Anybody who is registered with the Peterborough GP and is a resident or works within the Peterborough area can come in and have a full health check. If you're aged between 40 and 74, or if you're a South Asian, you can be 25 and above and come in for the full health check. If you've not had an NHS health check within the last 5 years, you can come in. If you're not already been diagnosed or treated for any of the following, which is the coronary heart disease, diabetes, previous stroke, hypertension, atrial fibrillation, chronic kidney disease, heart failure, and peripheral arterial disease. We've also got HbA1c testing as well happening for the diabetes.
So a lot of new diabetics might be diagnosed on the day.
Yes,
they
on
might
the day.
go home depressed
and,
though.
Yeah, and it's all free. It's all free. You can come in. And those are the all the things. Plus, also, if you're not currently prescribed statins or hypertensives, then you can come in for the full health check. But you can still, it's not just about that. You can have a mini MOT also.
Okay.
You can request, anyone can request a mini MOT. That's your height, weight, BMI.
Okay.
Your blood pressure, your lifestyle screening, but not the blood sugar. You can then be referred to various lifestyle services like the weight management, exercise sessions, and stop smoking, which is what I'm going to talk about now.
Yes, that's great. So just before
sorry,
you move on to that, Shakila, so do you see mostly in your sessions, obviously, are you based at a surgery as well, or no? Those are your colleagues?
Yes, the surgeries as well. Me and the colleagues is a big, massive team.
You are, yeah.
Yes, and we're all over the place. We're at, if I let you know, I've got a list of the GP surgeries that we're currently running the lifestyle programs in.
Yeah, there's Dogsthorpe Burley Road, number 1. I know of that one.
Right. There is Burrabury,
yeah.
Breton, Central Medical, Park Medical, Parnwell, Dogsthorpe, Huntley Grove, Thomas Walker, Minster Medical Practice, Westwood Clinic, Botolph Bridge, the Grange. And if you're part of these practices, you can call in and you can be seen sort of straight away on those. But if you're not from any of these GPs, you can call the number. It's a Peterborough number 01733894540, and you can put on one of the community clinics.
Oh, okay.
And the community clinics are run by myself and a lovely colleague called Anissa.
Yeah, I know Anissa very well.
You know, she's here, isn't she?
Yeah.
So we both run them, the community clinics, and then you can call that number and we put on one of those clinics.
What would you say the referral rate is? Just before we go on a break, just what would you say the referral rate is at the moment? Do you feel that we could improve on it as GP colleagues?
Yes, definitely.
Is it good?
You can improve on it.
Yeah, I think we're not doing enough, are we? We need to have more
people. No, I don't think you're doing enough.
Okay.
I've been at the Parnwell Clinic. They're really, really brilliant. They get me all the clients as well. I'm fully booked all the time, so I hope all the GP clinics are like that. They're good, but they need to work harder.
We need to work harder.
Definitely.
So what we usually do is we'd give them the leaflet, we'd explain to them that, look, you've got all of these services on offer, which we're obviously going to talk about after the break. We've got a minute left.
Okay.
And what we would do is we'd signpost them with that number. This is my understanding. Signpost them with that number that if they want to go to the community clinic, so there's no escape. Like, you don't want to come back to the surgery, you have to go to the community clinic, like literally.
Yes.
Or I usually give them a little slip, signpost them to reception and say, hey, go to the reception and you book in with Anissa, or if it was yourself with Shakila, into this health or smoking cessation clinic, etc.
Yeah.
I see a lot of young Asian women who are reluctant to go in. I do try and urge them how important it is. But obviously when they leave my office to go out, it's a different story altogether. And that's where I think the challenge is, which is why having this interview and having this message out there to the people in the community is that you don't know how important this is. And in the Peterborough community, we are very tight-knit. Now, we have at least 10 seconds for a break. Listeners, we will be back after the break. We have Shakila Bano, a very talented health and wellness coach, apart from her other roles as well, where we will be talking more about the services individually, what they have on offer. Don't forget to stay tuned in.
There was so much on my mind. In my bed I lay. I turned to my side and I heard a voice say, stop all your whining, heart rate's declining. You've got so much more than most. Look how you're sleeping, how much you've eaten. Don't you know that you're supposed to say sabr and shukr are wonderful things?